Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Sports Affiliation Betting Collaboration. This is episode 9 rolling across the bottom. We have Lions versus Packers. It's going to be a great bet. You know where I'm at. I should have turned it around. I didn't think about that. So, yeah, it's going to be a great game. Thursday night kickoff, NFC North rivalry. As always, Evan is here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I mean, week four already, right? Starts to get rolling. I mean, it would be a quarter of the way in, but now we have that 17th game. So, I mean, pretty close to a quarter of the way through. Hard to do the math out of 17 games, but either way, I mean, like you said, NFC North game, you got the green in the background. I think anybody that watches at all or knows you at all knows where your heart is tonight. I imagine that you've got something on that Green Bay team tonight that I'm sure we'll hear. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm ready to rock. I don't know. I expect a really good game. We saw the last game of last season between these two teams. I think Green Bay is a little bit better than people thought going into the year. We know what everybody thinks of Detroit. I'm not exactly sure where I stand on the victory tonight, but I do expect a very good NFC North game.
Yeah, I imagine most people are tilted onto the Lions, so to speak. I can understand why they got a good team over there. No hate from me as far as that goes. But yeah, I'm definitely going to start off our bet. I got GK on DraftKings money line, Green Bay 1 unit, returning 2.1 units. So right off the bat, I think I've been hanging out with you on the bets too long. I don't think I have one negative unit bet. I got one bet that's not plus money for this. Well, some of them are boosts, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've got just started off money line Green Bay 1 unit returning 2.1. I mean, they hit for us last week. We're not going to fix something. If it's not broke, we get Aaron Jones, we get Christian Watson back. Rashawn Gary's still getting a little bit healthier, so I love it, man.
Nice, I like it. I mean, like I said, it's kind of a either way for me. When I see that plus money on Green Bay, that's kind of my indicator. If I'm going to lay on that game, I'm probably going to lean to the home team that's getting plus money. I mean, it's hard to avoid that, but Detroit's a little banged up too. Green Bay's getting some people back. I mean, plus money at home, Green Bay, hard to avoid that. I know they didn't get it done last year, but that really doesn't have anything to do with this team and tonight. So I like the bet there. I figured you'd be coming in with the Green Bay money line bet, especially at that plus money. So I'll stick with Green Bay. You know that I've got my props going on. I'm going to start with Jordan Love over 16.5 rushing yards in this game. It's minus 120. I think I've seen a few places it's bumped up to 17.5, but he's hit this number in 2 games. Detroit's given up over that number in 2 of the games they played. Ritter didn't hit it, but Geno and Mahomes did. I just expect, the Packers, they have Jones back. I don't know how well they'll run the ball against Detroit. I expect Love to throw the ball. I think he'll have to scramble a few times, go get those first downs. 16.5 is not a lot of rushing yards. He's smart with the ball. I like him to get out a few times and hit that number. We're doing a unit on that.
A unit on Love, 16.5. I love that. You got a negative 110, I'm assuming, or
negative 120.
120. That's pretty standard. Yeah, not bad. I think he's, like you said, that's about 2-3 scramble drills, and he showed that he can be elusive too. I don't know what his stats were last game, but he got quite a few rushing yards, so I love that as well. I took a boost tonight and applied it to Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. And I actually got it at one unit, laid it, and it returns 2.95 units. I think. Let me look at my other chart, because I honestly made some bets from Green Bay that we're not talking about over here. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because it returns back that. So just under 3 units on that. That is correct. So that's an anytime touchdown. I got boosted on DraftKings. I put a full unit on it still, and it's still going to now it's going to return 2.95. I mean, my goodness. For Aaron Jones to score a touchdown, the best, most explosive player on the Green Bay Packers offense. They purposely didn't play him Sunday to keep him fresh for this game. I don't think he's going to be any kind of snap cat. We've seen A.J. Dillon he just doesn't really got it, man. I mean, he just really doesn't, man. He's not a complete running back. He doesn't have explosiveness. He just can have the fact that, like it takes a lot to bring him down, but he just doesn't have burst of speed. He doesn't have lateral movement. And Aaron Jones is just the guy, man. I think he's every bit as important to the Packers as Jordan Love is. So I expect to see him be on full display against a pretty bad Lions offense. So I took that touchdown, and it's almost 3 units on a 1-unit bet. If that bet hits, that bet alone, covers half the bets we made tonight, or excuse me, that would cover almost all the remaining bets. So I think it's a pretty wise investment for Jones anytime touchdown, man.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think too, like you said, with AJ Dillon just not really being a force in any way. I mean, Jones could be limited, but he won't be limited in the red zone if they're down there. I think he gets his chances, to sniff that end zone. So if you get a couple red zone opportunities for him inside the 10, inside the 5, and you're getting that return, yeah, that's tough to stay away. I know JC said scared of that Love rushing bet with Hutchinson on the prowl. Hopefully he's running away from Hutchinson.
Yeah,
that's kind of the goal that I'm thinking. But I would say Hutchinson, he's scary, man. He might get over a sack. I'm just saying anybody likes that plus money. Hutchinson, I think over 1 sack is like plus 160. I'm not playing that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he hits that number like he did last week. That kid is just filthy. I'll stay on the Packers right now too. I'm going to go, I love my tight ends. I got to go with Luke Musgrave today, over 37.5 reception yards. We talked about it last week. This Lions defense is awful against tight ends. I think they're giving up 88.7 yards a game. We saw Kyle Pitts finally get involved a little bit last week. They've been terrible. It's a spot where they are susceptible big time. We've seen Musgrave be involved a lot. We saw him with 8 catches last week. Again, I think the Packers run the ball to try to stay effective, but I think that opens up that window. Gardner Johnson, again, a safety out. There's holes there. Musgrave has shown he's reliable with Love. 37.5 yards. That's another negative 120 bet right there. Putting a unit on that. And I'll add a second one because I do have 2 for Musgrave. Going into the plus money, over 3.5 receptions for Musgrave as well. Oops.
Yeah, I think one thing that's not being talked about with Watson being here and Watson being like featured back as the wide receiver 1 is that he's going to take some of the cornerback and pressure off of Musgrave, off of Romeo Doubs. Aaron Jones is going to take some of the pressure off of those guys as well. So I think that Musgrave could have a really big game, man. I really do.
It dropped down to it was negative odds, and it changed to plus 100 with the news, that Watson was probably going to play, and exactly that right there. I just think that it alleviates with Watson playing. You have Dobbs. I really like Musgrave to hit that number 2. So a unit on over 3.5 receptions at plus 100.
I love it, man. I do love it. I got a couple same game parlays right here. I was hesitant to include one, but I'll go ahead and include it because it's like a pro move, and we're going to start building up the subscriptions, via the website or via, X or something along those lines. And you can also just find some of our secret bets over at one of our partners at Fantasy Football Advice Network. Just go over there, click on the betting group. You'll see some of the bets I don't talk about on X, on here, anywhere. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about these 2 bets. So I had a free bet money back from Monday night. So on $0, I went and doubled down on Aaron Jones for the first touchdown. So with 0 units, it can yield back 4.25 units on 0. So what that means is if Aaron Jones scores the first touchdown, not only do we get the anytime touchdown hit, we also get the first touchdown hit. So that's kind of a pro move. You're looking at right there turning 1 unit into, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 7 units. Turning 1 unit into 7 units, man, on 1 bet. Now, I used a free bet on it, but it was a $25 max. So whatever that might break down to your unit, that's what I used it on. I was looking for something. I wanted to lay something heavy just for the pure, odds and possibility of it happen. Okay, and now another thing I've done. So I've told you the touchdown bets. I've told you the money line bet, right? So here's what I've done, Evan, bro. I've same game parlayed, and it's if it doesn't hit, I get it back. But I just went really safe with it, and I've already kind of made like a big play on the first touchdown. So I've kind of backdoored myself and made sure it's okay if I've covered myself to make sure that if Jones doesn't get a touchdown, if Green Bay doesn't win, I laid a half a unit on Aaron Jones to have 50 plus rushing yards and Green Bay with a spread of 7.5. So now if those bets don't happen, I'm still returning a little over half a unit back on there. So I kind of make up for the loss I had on some of those other bets. All right. So this is just to simply cover those bets, and if it goes as expected, Jones should get his 50 yards and Green Bay wins, and then we win that bet too. So it's a little heavy on a bet, but it's to make sure you cover yourself a little bit on the back end. So those are my two bets right there. I also have one more same game real quick. Just kind of threw it together. Touchdown for David Montgomery, Green Bay on the money line, and Branch over 5.5 tackles and assists. I put 0.2 unit on it, and it can bring back 1.3 unit. So a little over unit game possibility for a little bit diverse, a little bit more Lions-based same game parlay.
Nice. I love it. Brian Branch, 44 players take it ahead of Brian Branch in the draft. I think what a steal for Detroit. That kid has been amazing out of the gate. What a pick. I love it, man. You talk about all the time kind of telling a story, right, of what happens in the game. And you can see with the bets that you have, that storyline with Aaron Jones, with the Packers, and then even covering yourself on them playing a game where Aaron Jones still succeeds, even if they don't find a way to win. But within that 7.5 points, close division game at home, really definitely can't see this game getting out of hand that Detroit wins, by more than a touchdown. That would be take probably an awful game from the Packers there. So I love all of that. Iggy mentioned having all those different bets that you may not see on here in different places. Just want to shout out Better Vision, one of our sponsors as well. Remember to download that app, Better Vision. You can have all your fantasy teams, all your betting books, everything in one spot so you can see everything you have as opposed to going to different tabs here, different tabs there. So download Better Vision. And he mentioned Fantasy Football Advice Network. Go and sign up. It's kind of the X of fantasy football, if you will. There's questions, there's polls, advice, different shows. So definitely hit up all those guys at Better Vision and Fantasy Football Advice Network. Love you guys over there. I'll jump on the Lions a little bit, staying with my tight ends. I got to go with Sam Laporta. I mean, the guy has just been lights out. Goff loves throwing him the ball. I'm also going with his receptions and his yards tonight. His yards are over 42.5, negative 120. His receptions are over 4.5, plus 110. The biggest thing for me, not only is he involved in the offense big time and he's crushing these numbers the last 2 weeks, it's Jair Alexander being back for the Packers tonight. I do expect him to play. It's simple. You look at last week when he didn't play, Olave over 100 yards. You look at the 2 weeks that Alexander was in there, tight ends were able to have success against this Packer team. I think Amon-Ra gets covered. I'm not saying he won't have a good night. He's a stud. Studs do what they do. But this opens up the middle of the field for Laporta. I just think that he's able to have another good night against this Packers team with Alexander out there. I love both those bets, man. A unit on both of those. So, again, it's Laporta over 42.5 yards and over 4.5 receptions. I will say what I did with those two tight ends is I did do a two-leg parlay with both those guys. I took Musgrave's receptions over 3.5 and Laporta over 4.5. Put those together on a two-leg same game. It's plus 350.
Man, that's nice. So
I also took the yards as well. So Laporta over 42.5, Musgrave over 37.5. That's plus 250. So I did a half unit on both those. So a half unit on the receptions plus 350, half unit on the yards plus 250. So I think that puts about 6 total units out there on the game. Heavy on Musgrave and Laporta. I love my tight ends. I love that tight end angle. I've had success on it this year, and I think both of them have good matchups tonight. So,
yeah, I mean, I was about to say you doubled down on tight ends, but you tripled down. So you took them individually, and then you took them on the double down on the same game as well, correct?
Correct. Yep. I got them individual units on yards, receptions for both guys. So 4 there. And then we've got the same game parlay at a half unit for both their receptions, both their yards. So, 5 of those units tonight are on Musgrave and Laporta to have a big night.
Hey, I love it, man. When you believe in your game script, you believe in it. I got two more bets. One of them was actually a baseball bet. I'll save that one for last. But got Quay Walker over 8.5 tackles plus assists. 1 unit's returned in 0.7 back. So not that, it's a negative. It's my only negative. I took this a few days ago. The line might have shifted. From what I can tell, his line hasn't moved at all, though. And my thinking with it is simply that can't see myself. It's that kind of what you said. Laporta's going to get a lot of passes. I expect to see Gibbs. I expect to see Montgomery. I expect to see underneath crossing routes. And Quay was already getting a lot of tackles, and now Devondre Campbell being out, it's like he has to kind of pull double duty right there at linebacker. So it'll be interesting to watch that aspect of it, and I think that he can cover that 8.5 tackles plus assists. Each one counts as 1, so I feel pretty safe about it. And then probably not, but maybe my last baseball bet of the season. I just couldn't lay off. I went and looked at Montgomery and Gilbert are the pitchers tonight in Texas at Seattle. It's the latest starting game, 7:30. Plenty of time to get on it as well. And I believe Texas I don't know if they've clinched the West or if they've clinched the wild card, but I went back and looked at last time this guy pitched against Seattle. Guess what his ERA was?
0.
0, baby. So I think he pitched 6 innings. So that's a pretty good amount. It might have been 5.2. It's either 5.2 or 6. That's still a pretty good, that's a long time to go without giving up a hit. Not that Seattle has like the most amazing hitters, but the line's at 7.5. It's the second lowest, I believe, behind whoever the heck the Royals are playing. And I just feel good about them getting through this first inning. Gilbert also, he gave up 2 runs the last time they played in this lineup, but he didn't give them up till the 3rd and 4th inning, or 2nd and 4th inning. So if he can just get through that initial part of the lineup, at home, I think that might help him some too. So that's my last bet of today. Threw in a baseball bet, 1 unit. I got it boosted. That's the whole reason I took it, and it returns 2.25 units, so 1.25 unit gain on the first inning of the game. I love it so much. It's a hard bet to hit. I did run off where I think I hit with Joey. I hit 11 on this show in a row, I think, I just thought it was so easy. And I lost about 7 in a row. So the law of averages came back against me there. But once again, that's the Texas Rangers at the Seattle Mariners. No run first inning. You can get a boost on DraftKings.
Yeah, I love it, man. Those are 2 teams in a tight race in the AL West with Houston as well. Playoff baseball before the playoffs start for those 2 teams. Pitching wins in the playoffs. So, hey, 2 good pitchers tonight. Get out of that first inning, set the tone right in a tight game tonight. So I love it. That's all I got. I do have a lean if it comes out. I could not find a receiving prop for Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if it's come out yet. If you can see that there at all, maybe let me know. But I could not find it as of this morning. But I would lean over on Jahmyr Gibbs' receptions tonight, his yards tonight. Green Bay, a heavy blitz team. I just think Gibbs can offset that. You saw him get involved a little bit more last week. I know Montgomery's back tonight, but just a little lean. If you see that open up, if you see the line, you can always hit me up on Twitter at SoCal Ball Nerd. Tell me what the line is. I'll tell you if you should go over. But I do lean an over on that number for Jahmyr tonight.
I love it, man. Yeah, that's a great call. That's all I got as well. So 4.7 units coming from me with the possibility of winning 11.4. Like I said, if Aaron Jones scores the first touchdown of the game, though, we're set. We don't got to worry. We're there. We're already in the green. So let's root that on. That'll be fun to cheer for, and don't get too crazy. I think, I might have asked for a lot of different things to happen tonight, but I stayed true to my philosophy of Aaron Jones having a big night and Green Bay having a chance to win this game. So with that being said, that's how you need to build up your betting for a big game. When you focus on one big game, I think that's the beauty of it, is like we can really focus on Monday and Thursday games, and Sunday we can kind of start narrowing down our bets, give it to you guys, and hopefully just keep this going. We're both sitting at positive units through 3 weeks. So collectively we are at least, I think, 11. We're just going sure That's something you need to do too. You need to be checking your spreadsheet every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. If you want to do it a quarterly, every 4 weeks, that's fine. But at least every 3 weeks, go back and double check all your bets where you've placed them. Most of them have a feature all open, won and lost, or settled. Just go through that settled section one by one. Okay, there's that bet. Oh, there's that bet. Oh, there's that bet. Oh, hey, man, I won 1.2 units here. I forgot to even mark it. Boom. Well, that's why we do it. Okay, or maybe you missed a losing bet and you lost a unit. Well, you need to get it in there because there's no point in fooling yourself. That's all I've got to say for today. I just, anything you'd like to say to close out the show?
I mean, you mentioned most of it. We're sitting in the green. We're over, positive double units together through 3 weeks. It's been a successful start. We've got that all tracked. We'll be showing that out there as well with our spreadsheet, laying everything that we have placed. We do have our other bets that aren't on there that, we don't announce on the show, but we will have those available to our, paid subscribers. But keep watching the show. I mean, like Iggy said, stay true to the philosophy. I know this game for me, there's kind of, I think, heavy action on those tight ends. I started to look at other bets, but that's where I'm at. I'm confident in the research, confident in what I'm doing on that game and what I believe in. So I'm not going to pick another bet in avoidance of something else because of other factors, right? Stay true to your takes, stay true to your bets. We win some, we lose some, but there's a reason we do it. We don't just throw it blindly. Every once in a while, we might just for fun, right? Some blind baseball bets, but that's not what we're doing here overall. So other than that, man, I'm looking forward to a great Thursday night game tonight.
Yeah, go check out Thursday night, the Thursday night checkdown with our Hall of Famer Greg Kellogg, JC, myself, and Mel. And Mel grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. She's a Green Bay owner. So you don't want to miss out on. She's a hoot. She's a lot of fun. So make sure you come be on Twitter or X, the space tonight. Be right on the sports affiliation. You can follow it at the sports affili on X, formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, we'll just launch it from there. 5 Mountain Time, so 7 East Coast time, and then we have the watch along party for the first half. No telling who will pop up in there. So if you want to come watch the game, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you can come chill with us and. We'll break down the game for you. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, Better Vision, Fantasy Football Advice Network. Please go download their apps. We'll see you Monday. Later.
Whew.